morning, Service Alliance community. How y'all doing today? Alongside of me, Brother Doug. What's up, man?
Good morning, Zach. I love your energy. I needed that. Hopefully other people got it too. Yeah.
Gotta bring it. It's Monday morning, man.
That's
Gotta
it.
start it off right.
Morning, Adam.
Morning, Adam. What's up, brother? You have a good weekend, buddy?
I did. My wife and I, she loves to share on Facebook everything. But when we went away and left the teenagers home, she couldn't because we didn't want any creepers to know that we weren't home. You know, guys like Saul and stuff. So, yeah, we did a little Airbnb on a reservoir, and it was like really great. It was really cool.
Nice.
Just relaxed and hung out and found out that we are still friends. So you have to do that from time to time, right? And there's nothing else in your way to talk about that's BS and crap, which is like day-to-day and schedules and groceries and broken house repairs. When you get past all that, you hope you're still friends. I was a little nervous for a second there, but we like each other a lot. So it was a good weekend.
That's awesome. Yeah, you got to do stuff together. You gotta date your spouse for sure.
Yeah,
makes
absolutely.
a difference.
Yeah. My oldest is able to drive and doesn't seem to surprise me that much, but it was like I was watching the Life 360, you know, because that's the difference between today and 30 years ago, right? Like they had no idea what was going on when they left when I was a teenager. But my wife's like, wow, Chloe's bringing Ben everywhere and taking care. I'm like, yeah, we did it right. We did it well, you know. So we did find some beer cans. A little nervous, but no, I'm just kidding.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
How about you?
I had a good weekend, man. I tried to kill myself, apparently. Endurance sports, my friend. You better be prepared, or you're gonna hit a wall.
And he's talking about billiards, everyone. He's talking about billiards, right? Is that what
No, I was out. I took the bike out on Saturday, the bicycle out on Saturday, and I decided, about 8 miles, and that I was going to do the 50.
Oh, okay. It wasn't even planned from the start.
I was a little bit late on Saturday. I'm like, yeah, whatever. It's kind of nice. It's kind of cool out. It's only 79 degrees. No big deal. Yeah, I think I'll do the 50. I got time. And about mile 32, when the temperature hit 100 degrees, I'm going, questioning my sanity. I still got 20 miles to go, and this could get interesting. So I hit a wall at mile 46, and I couldn't.
Close, but that had to be so far, right? 4 miles.
I mean, in my head, I can literally picture the route home from there. I've done the route so many times.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother principle that we've talked about before. Like when you're going to do something, know the route. Like just have it ingrained in your mind, right?
Now, Mike's assuming that you were in your bedroom doing this.
Yeah, no. I was definitely out and on the trails, and I went from beautiful Joliet, Illinois, down to lovely Minooka, Illinois. So it was a trip, but learned some lessons along the way. And then I had my friends reaching out after they're seeing the Strava report, and they're going, dude, we got to talk. Gotta love friends like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing because I didn't think riding your bike was an art, but you had to. I think it's great that you experienced this kind of wall, right? This is going to help you understand your body a little bit better, and pre-planning and all that jazz, so that you can do that thing that makes no sense. I've seen those pictures, by the way, right? Those bikers who come off and it's just veins and muscles and bone, and I'm like, what? Why would we do this again? But it's human nature, baby.
There is something to be said. I mean, listen, I finished Maxwell's 16 Laws of Communication while riding the bike.
There you go. You're feeding your mind, right? Yes.
Right. There's something to be said about it. But yeah, it's a lot of what you and I talk about. It's mental. It's preparing the head game. to then go out and do the rest. So, and having others come alongside you, there's so many parallels in right, like preparing ahead of time, doing the research ahead of time, knowing how to fuel my body, knowing the signs and symptoms of heat stroke, heat exhaustion, not sweating in 100-degree weather. That's a bad thing. It is a very bad thing. And then having friends like Rob Jones and my buddy Mike Law, having those guys reach out afterwards going, hey, we see your Strava, we see the data, like let's have a quick phone conversation, let's figure this out and get you going. It's no different than what we do day in and day out, just applied in a different way. So speaking of which, we are talking about art today, the art of the sale. And I'm sure some of these guys out there have their oxy-acetylene torches ready to go, ready to burn us at the stake, because God darn it, they are technicians. They are not salesmen. What are these two guys talking about?
Yeah. I mean, that's something I almost always talk about every interview, and just to find out the mindset of the person coming on, and that person that dreads the idea of being a salesperson is probably going to have a hard time, at action.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is we are salespeople. We're salespeople from the time we're children,
Yeah.
Those of us in the millennial and Gen X persuasion would not have been able to convince our parents to, oh, wait, who are we kidding? They left us alone anyway. But we couldn't convince them to let us go and do the stupid crap that we did.
Right.
Maybe.
That's an interesting take there. We'll have to take a podcast about the millennials. That's fun.
We were kind of like the hybrid Gen X. We had a lot of times left alone, and sometimes we had to sell our disappearing act. So
that's right.
You're always selling. Sometimes it's work, sometimes it's life. Yep. Day in, day out. So that's what we're going to break down today. We're going to break down some of the things that Doug and I have found within our own lives and our own companies that have kind of set us up for success. Some of the mindsets, some of the thought processes, maybe some tips and tricks along the way on how to authentically sell in a home to a customer and not have it feel like that dirty door-to-door sales. You know who I'm talking about. Now it's the solar. It used to be the roof, windows, everything, right? Like that's where that negative connotation kind of comes from. And this isn't that. So we're going to kind of break that down today. Doug, you want to pray us in, and then we'll just dig into this topic.
Absolutely. Good morning, Lord. It's Monday, and we thank you, and Lord, I pray and hope that our community had a time of rest this weekend, whether it was a couple hours or the full weekend. Lord, we just we know that you created us this way to seek you and to work hard, but we also need to rest. And so we need to know our bodies and we need to know our minds, Lord. And so I pray that I lift up the whole community to you and ask that you guide us in a way that honors you and that is healthy for us to be successful with our customers and our employees. Lord, I lift up Dr. Dan to you as he is in that next stage of bringing a technician on again. We just pray that you prepare him to be a great mentor, a great leader, that you give him all the tools, the equipment, the process, the procedures to set this technician up for success, Lord. And so we thank you for everything you give us. We thank you that you brought Zach home from mile 46 to 50, which was probably a whole nother marathon, Lord. And we just pray that you have shown him something new about himself. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right. So I can summarize this entire podcast in one simple statement.
All right.
It is about them and not you. If you can keep that in mind when you're going into a home, when you're selling your wares, whatever they may be, it is about them and not you. You'll win a majority of the time.
Yeah. I mean, I think you got to have a servant heart
Mhm.
and be about them. And then all of a sudden, I can't imagine how it could be sales at all.
Oh, Saul. Is that how Saul sells his Marcone parts? I think it is. He's like, you must buy my Marcone parts.
Well, he's got that Miami thing, and so was that movie Scarface. I mean, I'm just feeling like you could go down the road like that, you know, where there wasn't a lot of choice to be made.
So, but you,
I
as far as like it's about them and not you, I think you're kind of the master of that, Doug. When it comes to going into homes, when it comes to even working with your own team,
mean,
it's about them and not you, and you're the master of not taking stuff personal. So, walk us through your sales process when it comes to like what are you looking for if Doug is going into a home to fix a washer?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things, sayings or statements that we've made over the years. Like, just because we collect the check that day, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to call us back. And we're not looking for the one check; we're looking for the lifelong relationship. The other thing is, I don't know about your business when you had your appliance business up and running, Zach, but our service fee does not cover the cost of doing business per call. So it's a loss when we just collect a service fee. And that's bad. But what's worse is that a poor customer has to pay a service fee that doesn't cover the cost of your doing business, and they still have to go out and buy a new one. And so the reality is that we have to go in and give them 100% of us, because a lot of times there's a chance that we can help them in some way, that they don't know all the details. And I know many of the experts out here know this, that they're not thinking about anything but am I going to have to buy a new one? And how much is this guy going to cost me? But what's it going to take to install it? What's it going to take to, what does it mean for the rest of my appliances in the kitchen? The customer's mind goes everywhere. So you need to make it all about them. You need to put yourself in their shoes, and you need to listen to the things that they said already. If they're planning to put the house on the market, if they're planning to remodel the kitchen, if they're planning to, stay there for 50 years or whatever, all that stuff helps you sort through as the professional and guide them to where they need to be. And that has nothing to do with freaking appliances, right?
Well, and the principle is true whether you're fixing appliances, whether you're fixing heating and air, whether you're selling appliance parts like Saul, selling floor like myself, or selling yourself to a future spouse. The other person, if you can understand that this is the mindset on the other side of the table, it'll help you achieve so much more. They are thinking, what's in it for me? What's in it for me? Every single time.
Right.
And if you can understand that that's what's going through their head, that allows you to step back and go, okay, how can I serve this person? What is really at the heart of it? The reason I have a higher average closing floor sales than some of the other salesmen that we've had come through the building is because I don't care about what's in it for me. I'm focused on them thinking what's in it for me. Right. And so I put myself in the customer's shoes and I go, okay, what am I hearing in this? Oh, they're just trying to get out of their house. Okay, well, they're not gonna this isn't gonna be the route to go. They're just trying to get by to make sure when a seller comes in that it's not a worry. Same thing can apply to appliances. They're just trying to make sure that the home inspector isn't gonna ding them on the appliances.
Sure.
If they're planning on being here for another 50 years, if it's I love the story of the little old lady in the wringer washer that you've shared a couple times, right? Like she just she couldn't let go of that washer because that was what she knew. That was what she was comfortable with, right? And so you really have to have that empathy. You have to begin to build that empathy muscle and put yourself in the other person's shoes, because they're always thinking about what are you saying, that what are you going to do for them always.
But it's interesting. It's from the outside, not being the customer or the person helping, like Saul. Okay, I'm gonna assume, because he's a pretty great guy, and I've gotten to finally speak to him, that he does a great job in his area, helping his customers, and I bet you his numbers show that.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet you sometimes a peer or a boss can go, "Damn, Saul's a great salesman," but he is, but he isn't. He's probably coming alongside the customer, one of us, and saying, "So what's your plans? What's your plans 5 years from now? What are you doing the rest of this year? What can I do to set you up? Let me do this program where you can sit on these parts and have them on to help your first call, and your first call completes." All these things that maybe Saul is probably doing that is customizable to each one of his customers, knowing what each one of them might need. Action Appliance needs low price shipping. Because we ship to every customer's home. So I would rather have that over, bottom line pricing on my parts.
Right.
So to have someone like a Saul be there for us, a partner, that's what we are when we go into people's homes. We're partners with them. And if we look at it very transactional, it sucks. And it's kind of funny when you don't do a repair and you do it right. Sometimes you're there longer, talking, getting to know them, and so that they can go buy a new one, right? And you won when that happened, because what happened there is they remembered your name finally. At that point they're like, "Hey, thank you, Zach. I don't know how we could have done this without you." That's it. You've just made a customer for life and lost $50. Congratulations.
And not just one, because that person is going to tell their neighbors, their friends, their family. You're creating a ripple by putting yourself in the customer's shoes and really meeting them where they are and understanding what their needs are instead of putting your stuff first.
It's one of the reasons why we dispatch the way we dispatch. There's sometimes an area or community that I could put 4 techs in, but I'm leery about that, because once they've built that relationship, I want them to be able to go back the second time and the third time and fourth time. And now it's a reunion. And now the idea of selling yourself, by the way, you're doing that all the time, is you don't have to do it anymore.
Right.
And you get to the point where you're out the second, third, or 100th time, and they're like, "Whatever you say, Zach, I'm going to do. So you tell me." Right? You tell me what I should do in this situation. You've won when you're at that point, because you're friends.
And that kind of goes beyond that level of what we were talking about last week. Last week when I said rapport is crap, right? Like rapport is crap. It's made up. You actually get an authentic level of connection with a customer. And that's really what you're talking about. That customer knows, likes, and trusts you. Right. They've built that relationship with that technician, and that's why it is so important to send that person back. I didn't do a lot of things right, but one of the things that I always tried to do was send the same person back to install the parts, because they already have that level of trust. And there is that barrier. And anytime we didn't is typically when we found the problems. And it wasn't just because of misdiagnosis or anything else. It was really, they just did not trust that. Like, it was too hard to try and build another level of trust with a different person.
Right. Now, and it's not exclusive to our technicians, right, Zach? It's to the people who answer your phones. In that arena, listening to a lot of phone calls, the word no is a really powerful word and can turn you off, turn your customers off from you really fast. Now, I'm not talking about, "No, I can't come out today." I'm just talking about just the word no. Hey, do you guys service Marvel wine coolers? No, I don't think so. But let me check. Be right with you. Uh, yeah, actually, we do. Yeah, we do. All right. So, what's that customer thinking? I don't think this person answering the phone knows their business really well.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's a crack in the armor there. And now everything that CSR says, there's a little bit of doubt that they know what they're talking about. And it's like, so, all right, so it's down and I've got some expensive bottles of wine. Can you come out today? Oh, no, there's no way we can come out today. Of course, that's the truth. It's August, but don't deliver it without some explanation. Find some empathy. Oh wow, you need same day service for your wine cooler? Yeah, it's like, yeah, I do, because I have this expensive bottle of whatever. Whoa, I'm not a wine drinker, but that sounds like a really that's pretty crazy that and you have this conversation. And now there's a connection. But if you say no before your friends, you're done. You're done. It's very powerful. So you just need to never say no. I do it with the kids all the time, but
well, it's saying no in a different way.
That's exactly what you have to do.
Right.
With explanation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And more often than not, it's having a level of confidence. And that kind of goes back to Saul's comment. You can't sell anything you don't believe in. Studies show the best salespeople are the ones that have the best attitudes. Secret sauce, I guess. There's no guess about it. That is the secret sauce. You really have to believe in what you're doing. And so in that example that Doug just gave, let's break it down. That customer doesn't believe that the CSR believes in what her company can do.
Sure.
And so hearing that no and that uncertainty and that shakiness and the voice off the bat already turned the customer off, because they don't believe that CSR believes in what they're doing. Right.
Yeah.
And so what's going to happen when the technician comes in the home? Are they really going to believe in what they're doing? Are they really knowledgeable? And
at the very least, it becomes a wait and see. Like, okay, I'll give this guy or this woman a benefit of the doubt when they come in the door, but we're going to wait and see, because already we're on shaky ground. So and the poor technician has no idea that they're trying to build back up a rapport. And that's why we call our phone people the ambassadors of first impressions. It's a very crucial first step.
Yeah, that is a tough one. And I think the worst part of that is it automatically puts you at a disadvantage. You're already on the losing end of that battle. So even if it's wait and see, they've already begun to formulate opinions against you, which now you have just that much more work to do. It's already hard enough to walk into a house and sell your wares and sell your service and sell yourself as a knowledgeable person. But when you're put 5 steps behind before you've even walked in the door.
Hey, listen, at mile 46, if you knew that you might be in that situation when you started the race, you might have been able to even prepare a little bit better. So it's the not knowing it's going to happen, not knowing that the customer has lost confidence before we've even gotten in the house. And so the question often is when have we started servicing our customer? It's when we pick up the phone, or as EJ would say, it's what you put on your website, because that's when they really start, questioning and judging you,
Oh, for sure. And social media is such a powerful tool. I see a lot of our community on one extreme or the other. Either their Facebook page is so personal and so divisive, right? Like whatever I don't care what side of the fence you're on, political leaning, whatever. If you're being divisive on your page, your customers are seeing that. Okay. And that's putting you at a disadvantage in sales. And the opposite is true. If all your customers see, is your name. and I'm going to pick on him just because I can. TK, the appliance guy, if that's what his Facebook page is, and all they see is appliances and appliances and appliances and appliances. Okay, this guy, that's all he's about. And so maybe in some instances that works to an advantage, but it doesn't show any real life. It doesn't show that he's a real person, and there's no level of connection through that. So like you got to find a kind of middle ground. If that's how you're going to market yourself through social media, find that middle ground. And I'm going to pick on Jeremy because he kind of took some of the stuff from our last mastermind to heart, and he's really finding that balance between business and family life, and kind of showing that he's a real person. I mean, he's doing that on his social media, and it seems like that is gaining a lot of traction, which is fantastic. Very proud of him, for finding that balance. It's not easy, but it is a balance for sure.
You know what, the theme that just keeps kind of ringing in my head is that you got to be really great at what you do. Else you're in trouble, or else you're going to let people down. But we're never, it's a lifelong process. So what do we do when we're not really great at it? Like, I think Jeremy's another guy that's thinking about multiplying himself, cloning himself, growing, right? He's never done it before, and he might be nervous, but it's the same as going into a house and that's right. It's the same as going into a house and not knowing exactly what to say or do, right? You have to be conscious of what you say and what you do. And you have to have these placeholder things. So instead of no, dude,
Rob Jones would be so proud right now.
I would need a GoFundMe account, and you guys would have to come and send me flowers at a rehab center or something like that. So you got to have placeholders. Saul, stop distracting me. Wait a minute. It's actually Zach who posts the statements that were up like 2 minutes ago. What is this, your ADHD stuff?
No, that came up like right away. Anyway.
Okay. All right. So you have to have a placeholder for your no when you don't know, right? Like, that's a great question. Let me see what I can find out. You just have to change some of your statements when you're unsure about what's going to happen.
You know how people know that you're an expert is when, if you don't know, you say, "Let me find out."
Yeah.
Let me figure that out, because you know what that tells them, that you know where to find an answer for that. That is so much more powerful than just saying, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right. Like, no, you know what? Let me find out. I haven't run across that before, but let me do some research. I'll find out for you.
Yeah.
It's just a simple change, but it makes
I
a big
think
difference.
I think I was like 20 years old when I realized the power of admitting you don't know. Because for the first 2 years of doing this, I was trying to cover it up and hide it. And, and then after a while, I was like, let me just be honest here, because I don't have my catchphrase to get me through this, and say, I don't know, but I'm going to call and find out what I can do, because I see how important it is that I get your washer up and running today. And then that was like a light bulb moment for me. The customer's whole body posture, I can't remember anything, and I can remember this moment. Their body posture changed. And this is, when Saul and I were younger. So I had to go upstairs to the corded phone, and try to sneak towards the bathroom hallway to whisper what the issue was with the owner of the company. But I could see the customer being impressed and comfortable and glad that I was ready to go and figure it out, even though I didn't have the answer. So again, Jeremy and Dan, you guys, as you start your business, you're not going to have the answers, and that's okay. And just be prepared to answer in a positive way when you don't know what's the next thing to do. Be honest and transparent. That's what a great leader is.
Love it. I love it. What are some of as we're wrapping up, what's been your best tip in selling yourself and selling the company, and just sales in general? What's been your number one thing?
Um,
And I kind of put you on the spot there.
yeah, no, well, yeah, because I thought I used up all my best stuff already. But no, I think a genuine connection with the customer is pretty key. So the problem is what happens if you're not a person that is really good at that, or you're not a really strong people person like someone else might be. And what about those customers that aren't? It's about understanding and reading the room, and not it's about what you said. It's about putting yourself in the customer's shoes all the time. And if you can do that, then you will have no problem assuming the best of others, right?
Hmm.
I mean, I had a technician that, gosh darn it, he was so great at getting out of, oops, see how I said that? I'm assuming the worst of them. He was so great at not getting the job done at times, especially those critical ones where the customer was really upset. We're on our fourth trip out there, and I need him to make this right. And I am trying to think of every scenario possible under the sun that could come up and have it all the bases covered. And sure enough, Larry could just pull this one off time after time after time, call me up and say, yep, couldn't get it up and running. There was no way I could finish it today. And it would just kill me inside. But that's the worst case scenario. Every other scenario since, I've tried to put myself in the shoes of the 20-year-old Lorenzo or the 61-year-old Tom Savage, who's been doing it for almost 40 years. Just put yourself in their shoes, and that empathy and that sympathy will guide you in what you have to do. Same with your customers. We have, what is it, like 8 customers out there, 8 customer types, maybe. You know, I don't remember all of them, but I remember just sitting there going, it's this person, that person, the engineered type, the one who talks your ear off, the one that calls you when there's nothing wrong because they just want to have a conversation with you. You're pretty sure that it's the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's only like 8 types of customers out there. As soon as you figure out which one it is, you know exactly what you need to do to love on them and to care for them and to take care of them.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, guys, if you're just tuning in now, the whole summary of the entire thing was
Saul's answer.
Beautifully displayed by Doug right there.
Maybe then Saul did it in 2 words.
Right. Be authentic. Be authentic.
Whatever. Saul.
You need to put yourself in your customer's shoes. And it's all about them, not about you. And if you can remember that it's all about them and not about you, you will figure out exactly what they need every time, and you will win more often than you lose.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. Yeah. Love it. Well, it's been fun, buddy.
Thank you, my friend. Have a great week, everyone.
Yeah. Get out there, love your customers well, take care of your customers well. Don't take it personal and assume the best, guys. We'll see you next time.
The pamphlet lives on. Thank you, guys.